Ancient Egypt. Hi guys, today I'll be doing a presentation for you on Ancient Egypt. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Population. Egypt is a great country, but you can't imagine the population. The population is 82.6 million. That's a lot of people. There were a lot of children and adults. There were about 56,943 deaths in Egypt, so this was the population. Now let's move on. Mummification. Mummification was a process of decaying or preserving a dead body. The process could take up to 70 days. The stomach, liver, intestines, and lungs were removed through an incision in the abdomen. The brain was removed through the nostrils using special hooks and spoons. Other organs were dried and wrapped, but the brain was thrown away. Then the entire body was stuffed and covered with natron, a kind of powdered salt. After 30 to 40 days, the salt was removed, the body was dried and shrunken. Then the body was rubbed with perfume and washed with milk. The inside of the body, along the eye sockets and nostrils, were stuffed with mud or reeds. Then the body was decorated with jewelry and amulets. Food. In my opinion, Egyptian food is great. I have never in my whole life tried it. There are foods such as kashori, fata, mulakia, and halwa. Kashari is a food made from pasta and tomato sauce. It also has stuff like onions, rice, garlic, and chickpeas. Fata is prepared on special occasions such as a child's birth. It has layers of rice and fried bread. It is then covered with garlic and vinegar. Mulakia is made from leaves of jute. It is cooked in an animal stock. It is served with Egyptian bread or rice. Halwa is a sweet. To add taste, almonds, pine nuts, and pistachios are added. It is eaten for a snack, breakfast, or even dinner. Clothing. In my opinion, Egyptian clothes is weird. The Egyptian clothing was made from plant fibers, and after that, the clothes had to be washed and then dyed. Many priests wore animal skins, and so did many pharaohs at the time. Making clothes was mainly done by women. The Egyptians were barefoot most of the time, but wore sandals on special occasions. Some sandals were woven and some were stitched. Sandals that were made from gold weren't that comfortable. Weapons. The Egyptians had a lot of different and dangerous weapons. They had many weapons like shields, spears, cudgels, maces, daggers, bows, and arrows. Many of them were hammered to get their shape. After a while, battle axes and cycle swords got invented. Pyramids. Egypt has a lot of pyramids. The ancient Egyptians built pyramids as tombs for the pharaohs and their queens. There are about 80 pyramids known today from ancient Egypt. The Pyramid of Giza is the longest pyramid. It was the tallest for over 40,000 years. The Pyramid of Giza was built for King Khufu. Egyptian gods. There were 17 gods of Egypt all together. Ra was the god of the sun. Ra was the first pharaoh of the world. He lived for centuries. The Egyptians celebrated each sunrise. The god of the earth was Geb. Nut was Geb's wife. I think Geb's wife has a weird name. Nut was the goddess of the sky. Shu was the god of air. She was given the job to keep Nut and Geb apart. This is why the sky is so far away from the earth. He was the first son of Geb and Nut. Osiris taught men about farming and created the first cities in Egypt. Osiris' brother, Set, was jealous of him. Set tricked him into laying down in a gold coffin, and then sealed the coffin and cut it into pieces. Set scattered the pieces all over Egypt, and Osiris' wife spent years searching for them. Osiris' wife was a goddess of magic. She was very clever. Her name was Isis. Isis had multicolored wings. Set was an evil god. He was a god of desert, storms, and evil. Set was his strongest gods. He became the pharaoh of Egypt after killing his brother. Nephthys was a river goddess, wife of Set and the sister of Isis. Nephthys didn't like her husband very much, because after he killed Osiris, Nephthys helped Isis collect his pieces and bind them together. She was kind and gentle, and a mother of Anubis, the god of funeral rites. Horus was the son of Isis and Osiris. When he grew to manhood, he challenged Set and eventually defeated him, becoming the new pharaoh of Egypt. Cats were extremely popular in Egypt. because they could kill snakes, scorpions, and other nasty creatures. Bast, the goddess of cats, was just as popular. Bast was a protective goddess. She was Ra's faithful cat. Sobek was the god of crocodiles. He was both respected and feared. The goddess of scorpions was good and bad. She could send scorpions after her enemies, and a single scorpion bite could kill you. She was pictured as a woman with a giant scorpion for her crown. Her name was Serket. Anubis, the god of funeral rites, was one of the most important gods. Bes is god of dwarves, protector of household, mother, and children, one of the ugliest and most popular gods in Egypt. Bes has the power to scare off evil spirits. He often appeared on amulets and in sculptures as a hairy little man. These are the 17 gods and goddesses. Ancient Egyptian art. Ancient Egyptian has a lot of tourist attraction, and one of them is the Ark. The Ark is 5,000 years old. There were many types of art, such as pottery. In ancient Egypt, art was used to tell someone's feeling. If they made something like the pharaoh riding a horse with bows and arrows, it probably means that the person wants to declare war on someone. There are many arts that show symbols. Sculptures would build stuff as the gods and goddesses. They were built in stone or in wood. They were built by sculptors. An Egyptian story. Together, Osiris and his wife Isis ruled ancient Egypt. After years of war, Osiris brought peace to the land. He was kind, clever, and extremely popular. One night, when Osiris was away, Osiris invited his evil brother Set, another important man, for dinner. Set arrived with a box covered with jewels that was gold. Set told everyone that whoever fit into the box could have it. Osiris declared that he could fit in it. He sat down and said it fit him. Set laughed and sealed the box tight and cut him into pieces. Set asked his evil henchmen to take the box to the Nile River and throw it in it. When the news reached Isis, Set had already crowned himself king. The box was not guarded, but Set found it and cut Osiris into 14 parts. Isis was able to find 13 parts and carved the other piece from pine. The Nile River. What a beautiful sight. The Nile River is the longest river in the world. The length of the river is approximately 6,650 kilometers, 4,132 miles. It is located in Africa. The Nile River lies in the following countries: Kenya, Eritrea, Congo, Burundi, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Egypt, Sudan, and Ethiopia. The animals make nests along the coast of the Nile River. Many people say that it is the primary river of Egypt. Sculptors got wet clay from the coast of the Nile River of Egypt. Farmers mainly made farms near the Nile River because they could get lots of waters. If you had freckles and were looking for a cure, you would have to take the skin of a Nile River crocodile and rub it on your freckles. Language. Ancient Egyptian language is the old and known language of Egypt. They spoke the Coptic language. The first piece of Coptic is written to be 30,400 BC, so that was a long time ago. The last piece of writing was dated to be 396 AD, after the Coptic language and the Hebrew Indian language was alive. The Greek and the Coptic language are very much alike. Here's a tuxedo of Set. Ancient Egyptian snakes. Ancient Egyptian snakes. There were a lot of snakes in the ancient times. Ancient Egypt had a lot of them. Some had weird names and looked fake, but it's all Egyptian mythology. Naji Haji was a snake. It was a cobra that guarded the king's ships. If any snake charmer would tame it and let it go, the charmer would die. The Egyptian asp snake was a very poisonous snake. Snakes in that time ate rats and mice, which caused great damage to stored food. The pictures above are all real, they only look fake. Afterlife. Almost every mythology had an afterlife. Egyptian mythology had one of the greatest afterlife. In the afterlife, kings and queens would give each person a task. If they passed, they would get to live in the afterlife, and if they did not, they would have to die. For the people that won, they had to go through a person that measured their heart. If their heart was heavy, they wouldn't die. If not, they would get to live the afterlife. One in ancient Egypt did many good deeds during their lifetime. King Tutankhamun. King Tut was a pharaoh of Egypt. He was born in the year of 1342 BC. He had a sibling named Anakhtamsum. His parents were the younger lady and Akhenaten. King Tut was great pharaoh, but not greater than King Cyrus. Thank you for listening, everybody. Have fun, and please feel free to leave a comment on what other presentations you would like to see. Well, it'll be creative, anything you want, I'll like it. But please like and subscribe this video. If you like, share this video with your classmates and stuff. And this is a #1 trusted by teachers and everybody. No copyright. Thank you. Bye bye.